So I'm here to talk to you about an interdisciplinary PhD program. It's transdisciplinary in nature, so although there's physical sciences to it, there's social sciences to it, a really important component to it is it's transdisciplinary. And by transdisciplinary here, I mean that academic knowledge is treated to equal that of local knowledge along the southeast coast of Iceland. So what's interesting about Iceland is it's a really rapidly evolving island. It's only roughly 16 to 17 million years old, and that's quite young when you compare that to Newfoundland, which has parts of it that's more than 600 million years old. And has basically a number of different constructive processes as well as deconstructive processes. And a lot of research has been done on those deconstructive and constructive processes, but only in the inland as well as ocean sciences, especially with respect to fisheries. But there's a knowledge gap along this coast, yet this coast is extremely dynamic. What makes it dynamic is some of the research that's been previously done on it. For instance, we have the largest glacier, Vatnajökull, in Europe, residing over Iceland, as you see on the map, and it is melting internally as well as externally. It is melting internally because we have active volcanoes under it, and what they're doing is they're melting it, and the meltwater is filling up the calderas of the volcanoes, and then the heat and the pressure of the volcanoes eventually explode, and we have huge glacial outwash, which is the red circle, floods that deposit all this material along the coast. That's constructive. Secondly, we also have external melting to this glacier, and that's from climate change. So it's rapidly retreating. And what happens when it rapidly retreats, the weight of the glacier comes off the land, and then the land uplifts. So we have uplifting land along this coast anywhere from 6 to 10 centimeters per annum. Relative to Newfoundland, anywhere from 2 to 4 millimeters of coastal change. That's phenomenal. Then we have a third component that is impacting their coasts, and that's erosive, and that's storm and wave. So we know of Newfoundland, increasing intensity of storms are occurring along our Atlantic coast, but it's also happening along the southeast coast of Iceland. But the difference is we're a very hard rock island. They're a very soft basalt, newly formed island, so it's very easily eroded into black sand beaches, so it's really impacting their coast. So the second component to this project is that we want to work with the communities. They have interesting worldviews that were developed when they first settled on Iceland in 874 AD. This has always been a rapidly developing island, so we really need to get in there and work with them through focus groups as well as semi-structured interviews and find out what are their views and their values of their nature, what has contributed to their ability to adapt to this rapidly changing environment, but at the same time provide them some air photo maps of some digital shoreline analysis so they understand what is eroding and what is emerging and how they can manage that in the future. We would like then to take some of these applications and apply them to all coasts around the world so that communities can trust their own internal adaptive strategies to help them better adapt to increasing climate impact. Thank you.